Good afternoon, urban farmers, and today we'll look at a hydroponic little kit system that I bought. I believe it's Garden World, and Garden World in Kisborough. So I'll show you how that works, and it's meant to be pretty mechanical, so no, well, I shouldn't say moving parts, but no electrical parts. So let me just close this door here. Okay, so I'll open it up, show you what it's about, and yeah, hopefully we'll see how it works and operates. I'm going to have it under the pergola here, just sort of check how it works. Ultimately, when I buy myself a nice little greenhouse, I'll put it in the greenhouse. So as you can see, I've got a lot of things happening here. I was redoing my pots at the front, which I'll show you maybe at the end of this video. The system that I bought, it is the AutoPot Hydrapak 2-pot starter kit. It cost me $108, and it basically only has 2 pots. So the point of it is that you are going to have a reservoir for your nutrients, and then your nutrients slowly seep into the pot itself, and then it feeds the plants that you have inside. I think it's not overly expensive system from what I can tell, and we've got plenty of sunlight and plenty of warmth, so I'll give it a crack at maybe growing some tomatoes. We'll see how we go. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do with it. First we'll set it up. I'll show you when it's actually set up, so I'll go through the unboxing process myself just to sort of see what I get and all that sort of stuff. So I might just put it over here. Alright. Okay, so that's how it looks like. It all comes in the box, and the box itself is a reservoir. And that's where you hold nutrients, and the reservoir is 35 litres from what I have been told, and then those 35 litres can run up to 8 of those pots. Now you can obviously run more than that. The problem is if it's a hot day, it can use, one of those pot systems can use about 1 litre a day. So if you've got 8 of them, you might have 3 to 5 days worth of nutrients, and you don't want to be replacing nutrients every 3 days. So the whole point of this system is to be able to top it up and leave it for a couple of weeks and not having to touch anything, and then just top it up whenever you sort of need to, or whenever the nutrients go, whenever the nutrients sort of disappear. So let's get into it, and let's open it up and see what's inside. Alright, so the thing itself comes with a top, obviously, and the top has tape around it. I'll undo the tape and I'll be back with you in just 1 second. That is some heavy duty tape, so I'll get rid of that. Put that on the floor. Okay. Oh my god, it is stuck. Plus it's a bit hard to do with one hand. Oh, here we go. It's because I was grabbing the plastic. Okay, so let's see what we get inside. We get a pot, or 2 pots. Alright, I think I might actually need to put the camera down to get this thing out, so give me a sec. Okay, so you're wondering what was in that box, and we get 2 pots, just relative to my hand. You can see how big the pots are. They're quite large, so they're good for your larger vegetables such as your tomatoes, cucumbers, and the rest, maybe even eggplants and so forth. Good stuff. Alright, so we get 2 sets of nutrients, A and the B. So you got that one there, and then the B is here, and we'll mix those appropriately. And we get some growing medium. This is very, very, very light. I would say this would be no more than a couple 100 grams, maybe even less than that. So very, very light stuff. What else do we get? We get some piping, and I'm assuming this is going to connect our reservoir to our pots, which is good. And that's it. And I believe inside here is the part that makes all of this magic happen. So if I take one of these pots out, actually I'll take both of the pots out and stack them on top of each other like that. We'll open this part here, and that is what makes all the difference. So what's meant to be happening here, and that's the part that connects to the actual plugs there. So I'm assuming when there's enough water, it'll stay up, and when the water goes down, it'll fill up again. And that's pretty much a very, very simple way of filling these containers up. And because it is mechanical, there is no electricity or anything like that, our tub there needs to be on top of or higher than our pots themselves. So the pots are going to be on the floor. I'm going to have them just in front of the pergola there somewhere where there's enough sun. By the way, that's the north there that we're looking at, so there's going to be plenty of sun even during winter. And the pots themselves are going to be on the floor, and for the time being, at least for the next week or something, until I build something a bit more permanent, I'll just put that thing on a chair, probably that one there. And yeah, that should be enough for it to start growing, and see how it goes. Once I assemble it, I'll show you how it all looks like. I didn't look at the manual, but the guy at the store explained it pretty well. So hopefully, yeah, we won't need too much information there. I can tell, look, the pots aren't, you know, not the pots, but the water reservoir. You can see that the plastic actually hasn't been built to the most highest standards. I think the overall system is very good, but the build of it is not. I wouldn't say it's the best. However, for the money, you really can't go wrong. I suppose what they do also sell, if you are keen enough, they sell these contraptions on their own, so you could actually sort of have the, you know, buy some really cheap pots, and perhaps even buy a trough like this that's quite cheap, and then just put this contraption in, and you would then have something very similar to this for, you know, maybe a third of the price or something like that, because these things cost about 15 bucks, I think, or thereabouts, give or take. So they're not overly expensive. So if you want to save a bit of money and you make this yourself, you can. Obviously you'll need some nutrients. You can make that yourself if you want as well, but I wouldn't be going that crazy, not this early. This is my second attempt at hydroponics. The first one I had was the aeroponics, and that was good, only it wasted a lot of electricity, and I want to try something that doesn't really waste too much electricity, so we'll try this. Beautiful. We'll see you when all this is put together and is up and running. Alright, so this is the setup. I've got the cable connected to, if we go down here, at the back of this container. The container now has the solution inside, and it's all nice and facing north, so the sun's setting now, so you can see the shadows there in the video. The next step is just to put the lid on the container, and what we'll do is we'll probably end up planting something inside, tomatoes, and just to see how this will go. And theoretically speaking, I'll probably be changing this water around in the next 3 weeks or something like that, 4 weeks, and I've got enough solution to last me probably I've used maybe a quarter, and I'll probably be okay for next 3 refills, so probably the next 3 months or something like that. Okay, so we got part A and part B. I've already put part B, I'm putting part A. So what I do is I take it out of here, and as you can tell on here you've got so the measurements in milliliters, and then you've got other measurements as well if you want it. So I pretty much finished that. This is now our solution, and if I was to put the wand in here, it is saying that it is at 1.4, and we could put a little bit more nutrients in if we wanted to, and that would, so it's between 1.4 and 1.6, which is probably 1.5, and that is perfect for tomatoes and such. We can always put a little bit more if we need to inside, but this is one way of measuring it. And this thing here is just as you can see, a nutrient meter. Now, had I read the instructions from the start, I would have known this, but you know, the growing medium that's in those pots, well, that needs to actually be drenched in the solution before you put the pots down, and I did that, and I basically made sure that the solution is drenched. Now, if you do that after, you're obviously going to make a mess like I did. So what I did was took those pots out and just had it on top of the box here. So I had it on top of this box inside, and then I was just pouring it with the cup, pouring the solution on top of it. until it was all drenched. There was a little bit too much overspill there, and hopefully that goes away once the pots lose all of their extra nutrients. So once all the extra nutrients are gone, that'll probably go away as well. Alright, I'll show you where I dig out these tomato plants out from. Okay, so I had tomato plants in my beds, as you probably would have seen in my previous videos, and so basically all the rotten tomatoes that have gone into the ground have basically sprouted up again. This is a little bit of an unusual weather for us in autumn. Essentially we're getting 30-degree days, and we've been getting 30-degree days for about 3 weeks consecutively now. So this is where my tomato plants are sprouting from. You can see that there's so many here, and there are some bigger ones at the back there, just growing next to my cherry tree. So I'll just dig up a couple of these and put them in that pot. So I've got a couple of these here, and I'll just see if I can dig those out. Oh, there's actually one there too, and that one looks pretty nice. And if you see that white thing, that's just an eggshell. So I put all my eggshells and all that sort of stuff back into the garden. So as you can tell, this one's got some pretty good roots. Put that one there. This one's actually got some pretty good roots too. And what I'll do is I'll actually put more than one down. We can always thin them if we need to. So what we'll do is we'll plant them in here. Now this is planted, so I've got 2 tomatoes, one is there, or should I say 2 sets of tomatoes, and there they are, growing happily. I don't recommend growing pumpkins if you've got a small backyard, because this thing, zucchini plant right there, this thing takes over more or less a good third of my yard, which is crazy, for only a couple of